Hey everyone, my name is Gina and I'm excited to share my Fodder School for hop video for the first part of the year. If you don't know what a hop video is, I'd like to share because this is how I found out about Fodder School. A hop is basically a series of videos put together around a theme by different artists that are on a playlist on YouTube. The link to this hop video series will be down below for you so you can have the joy of seeing how all of the artists interpret the projects. Now, the projects themselves in Fodder School, when you join, you have a year-long course with a different instructor every month, a different kind of fodder with a different project. It's so amazing. If you're creatively curious, if you like to try new things, be inspired by all of these different instructors, then Fodder School is amazing. And I'm so excited for every month to come. And you have lifetime access to the curriculum. So if life happens, there's no pressure to do things that that don't fit into your life at this point. So you can always go back and do the class when you can. What I found is that I've been mixing some of the techniques that I'm using in the other projects, which has been so much fun. So there's this thread that goes through. Now, this is my first time doing Fodder School. I've been an artist for years, but I'm in love with Fodder School. One of the things that they encouraged us to consider is taking a color palette. It's just optional, and seeing if you can stick within a palette for the whole year in each project. And I have been playing with that concept, and it is a lot of fun. Obviously, I've gone with ranges within my pinks, purples, turquoises with my neutrals and a yellow. But any combination makes me happy. And that was the thing that I loved about this color idea. Now, they encouraged us to make this book, so I will go through the book with my projects to kind of let you know how I did it. Now, I'm a big note taker, so this is what happened, but the first instructor was Ravi, and it was called The Alchemy of a Memory. And there were so many things that were inspiring. One is making a sigil. It's taking a statement or a concept and putting an image to it to remind yourself. I chose Be Still and Know. I did 2. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. I did 2. And I've used these throughout my other projects. One of the other really cool things he did was called taking your found photos and altering them. We did embroidery. Isn't that fun? Painting over parts of a photo. Weaving. I wove book pages and a little vellum into this photo. I wrote a poem on this photo. I chose blue for the sky and brown for the ground. Kintsugi, which is using gold. It's a Japanese technique of, they used gold to fix cracks in ceramic. And so Jack encouraged us to try it on photos, which I loved. Now this was a fun one too. Obviously the Kintsugi really inspired me. But you can cut things out of a photo. So I cut this man out and I stuck him on a completely different photo. And I used a book page to fill his silhouette. The painting clearly got inspiring to me. I painted a blue sky with clouds on this one. This one I just took a metallic paint and I was kind of obsessed with it. So that is some of the projects that Jack encouraged us to play around with. And I loved it. We also created die bundles, which I'm going to show you what we did with those. We took all kinds of materials, fabric, lace, paper, photos, book pages, whatever you could think of. This is a linen napkin, and I also played with a little bit of watercolor to add to it. So we're just creating fodder with anything found. Paper, photos, napkins, you name it. Book pages, so inspiring. And this is what the final result was. I made 2 of these. They're books. We had to find these old tins, and then we made the books to fit the tins. And if I happen to be a bookmaker, a journal maker, and I just love this project. So here's my little book, book number 1. And it has some photos and some papers. Castile is my maiden name, so I loved the soap in there. There's a stamp of my sigil. all the different things from the dye bath, which I love. It fits right in there. I did a second one. I took, my daughters found at a thrift store like a belt from the 70s that didn't ever get embroidered. And so I made the cover out of a 70s linen belt with the yarn from the 70s, which was pretty brittle, but it was fun to play with. So cookbook spine, photos, ephemera, fabric. I love the fabric. It picked up, you know, we used iron. See, there's a photo that it kind of, you can see the different things that I've used. There's my sigil on a tea bag. So it's just a really cool, fun project with all mixed media. I had written, I think this might have been a poem, or it might have been my thoughts for the day, and I made a little pocket to tuck it in there. And it just fits beautifully in these little tins. And I had so much fun shopping for these antique tins. The other thing that he did in his Fodder School challenge is we made these medals. Aren't these the greatest thing ever? You take your found photos, you take found fabrics or whatever, and you do stitching, and you just create these really fun. You take a bottle cap. Oh, I just loved it. Time, capable, glittering, gracious, true happiness. I mean, you can put these on journals. You can stick them on gifts. You could take a picture of someone that you love. Oh, there's just 1,000 ways you can use these. Absolutely loved it. That was November. And then, now, December was Sally Hurst. Sally had a really great project of creating coasters as gifts. Because I take December very, very slow, what I did is I chose one project and did it. We did gel plate printing, and that was a hoot. I love jelly plate printing. This is the cast-off paper from my printing, and I want to show you my plasticine stamps. I'd never heard of plasticine. We created stamps to use in our printing. So this was a placemat, a wicker placemat. We had wood out in the backyard with nails in it. It was from a chair. I made my own wood. And this was a bamboo soap plate. And then found keys, decorative keys. And this is an oil-based clay, so it doesn't dry out, which is really cool. And here's some of the prints using that color scheme I was telling you about to do my jelly plate printing. I did some on thin papers. I did some on regular papers. These are some of the samples from the project. Now, what I chose to do was this really cool wall hanging. Some people did wood coasters, but because it was December, I decided to focus on one thing, and I decided on a wall hanging. So what I did was I found these wood kind of square coasters, was what she told us to look for. And I put all my energy into one project, and I'm super happy with how this turned out. So I'm really, really loved that. And that was December. I think I probably finished it in January, to be fair, but I did get the December project completed. That's Sally Hurst. Now, the next one is Liz Constable, and it was an ever-evolving fodder journal. Now, this was one of those things where you make a master sheet, and I absolutely loved playing with spray paint, book pages, old bits of art that I had that I hadn't done anything with, that I've been, my play pages, if you will, from in the past, and building on top of those. This is a little booklet that shows kind of maybe bits of art that I painted and added some of my stamps on top of. Book pages, there's my sigil again from Ravi. Paint. I mean, the spray paint was a whole new thing for me. My cast-off sheet. I just really enjoyed this whole process. This is from an old book. Like I said, I make books, and sometimes I repurpose old books, and so I have tons of book pages. And here you can see that I used a stencil with a spray paint. This was just a fun collage of what I did, but the actual project is this. This is the book, the ever-evolving Fodder book that I made for the project. One of the things I decided to start adding in, I don't know if you noticed, it was kind of from the kintsugi from Jack Ravi's. I started adding gold accents on my projects. And so I've decided to carry that through on most of the projects so far. So this is just, you tear out holes, you fill holes, you can tear off pages. My sewing machine needs to be serviced, so I couldn't do stitching, but there were some really cool stitching ideas. But this is just a fun way of, you can staple things in, you can sew things in, you can tear things out. See these holes here? You can tear things out. These are bits of my old art that got put in here. I just thought that this, took an old art page and just built on it. This is acrylic ink just swirled around. I just thought that this was such an inspiring concept. And we built master sheets, and so I have all of these mishmash of different kinds of papers that I had in my stock. There's my stamp from Sally Hurst, my sigil from Jack Ravi. I just love mixing and matching the things that I did in from different instructors and kind of carrying it through in the other projects. You can cut through. Isn't that fun? You can kind of see through the next page. Stamps. I even got rubber stamps involved. That's a blast from my past, rubber stamps. Bits and pieces of my, what do you call it? Jelly plate printing. So yeah, this was the book from Liz Constable. What a joy to put that together and to stick with my, as my daughter would say, my 90s theme colors. Who knew? I didn't realize. So that was January. Now we're going to move to February, and that was with Angela Kennedy. Okay, Angela Kennedy has these adorable dolls, and she helped us to learn to draw them, and I loved it. This was just a little sample I threw in here. Here's one, and she had us make background papers for the fodder part, and this is watercolor and salt. This is some jelly plate printing situations there. These are my little dolls. Going back into my jelly plate printing play pre-Fodder School, pulled out some things. This was ephemera that she gave to us. I put gold in this girl's hair. So much fun to draw the eyelashes. She taught us how to color in their faces with watercolor. Oh my gosh, so cute. I just love them. Love, love, love. So that was Angela Kennedy. This was the February Fodder School. Now the paper dolls were so much fun. Here's some of the strips of the fodder that I used to create. Trying to stay within the color scheme, of course. I think I jumped out with this bright yellow, but I couldn't resist. I just really thought the bright yellow was a happy, happy combination. And here is my last little paper doll that I made. I loved her blue hair so much. Really enjoyed playing with concepts on the jelly plate printing for this so I could create clothing. So that was a lot of fun. Then March, we have Lisa Young. Now, Lisa Young, it was called Caffeinated Fodder. I don't have anything in here because I've been playing with it. So let me show you that project. We've got, she taught us how to, take our tea bags, what kind of tea bags. I dyed some with liquid watercolors and sprinkled it with some alcohol to get spots. Did some rubber stamping. This is actual, I had put some watercolor powder on here and wet it to get this background color. And then I had a flower, the petals had fallen off, so I stuck them on here. Stamps that I've created with pen. There's the gold I was talking about. These are stamps I've created. There's my sigil again. Another rubber stamp. Oops, backwards. From my back in the days when I was teaching rubber stamping. And just this one is coated with some watercolor ground, so I have a little texture to it. Stencils, ink. That's my gold ink, and this also has some clear gesso on it so that it has some opacity to it. So yeah, that is a lot of fun. I mean, I can't stop saving my tea bags. I'd happen to have a stock of it. And so this is the little accordion journal that I made from folded tea bags. I drew some wildflowers on there. On the other side, Lisa Young has these adorable stencils that I ordered, and I put them on the back of this book. Joy, kindness, and love. Aren't those sweet? And then I took a bronzing cream and gilded the edges of everything. So you see that gold coming in again. And then I made a large one with the tea bags open. And I just took whatever I created and decided to make a book out of it. So I have some hand-drawn. This is watercolor tinted paper with hand-drawn flowers. This is acrylic. Rubber stamp. Also just a powder. It's either a powder or a spray that I put on a wet tea bag and let it bleed. This was the powder. This was the spray. There's your gold again. Isn't this fun? Tuck into a journal. You could even stitch around this if your sewing machine works, which mine right now needs to be fixed. I'm not bitter about it, but these are just fun ways to use the fodder. And one of the things I thought would be fun would be to make a master sheet with tea bags and then make a book. But anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed my Fodder School hop video for the first half of Fodder School 4. I would highly encourage you to consider adding Fodder School to your art practice, because this is such a joy to every month. I get a new teacher and a new project and a new way of looking at my art supplies and my art practice, and you just get the joy of creating. So I want to thank you for joining me on my YouTube hop, and I hope to see your creation soon. You can follow me on Instagram at Gina_R_Farrar. That link will be down below. There'll be a link below to the YouTube hop, and I look forward to seeing what everyone else makes on the YouTube hop videos. Have a great day. Bye.